Hi everyone, thanks for tuning into my channel, Huub Hildenbrand Guitar Academia. Today we go on with our series on the Turkish Maqams. And remember, we are looking actually at the basic tetra and pentachords. So all these different tetra and pentachords, the Turkish classical music is built on, or it's built with these different. These are like the building blocks of the whole repertoire, and we will take one step further. We will take a look at today. We will talk about Cargah, and we will just in general in this series we will take a look how the tetra and pentachord, like Cargah in this case, actually extends to the full octave, and what this scale, what these maqams are usually doing, how they're behaving, just the very natural things, the things you have to actually show, you have to play, you have to do that that you can really say, okay, I this is that maqam, because some. Like in the last lesson we talked about Buselik, for example. There you really have to show like this kind of Aeolian and at the same time also the harmonic minor scale quality. But yeah, we talked about that. And I'm really assuming that you follow this series. That's now lesson 6 of this series. And so we talked about Rust, we talked about Uşak and Kurdi and Hijaz and Buselik, and today we talk about Cargah. And there's also a PDF. There's not much really on it, but of course it's cool if you download that, because it also supports this channel. Would be really kind. And yeah, so let's go into into Cargah. With Cargah, it's like a kind of a special case, because actually to really have a maqam Cargah, as you would just put these different tetra and pentachords together, it's not too much used actually, and but maybe I should start a little bit before I jumped already in it. Cargah is the equivalent of the major scale as it is in the Western in Western harmony. Yeah, in the European classical music, we have the major scale, and that's the most I think, yeah, it's the most important thing. Also our like piano make this distinction between this is the C major scale and these are the other notes, they are black, and so it's really very important scale, like the whole also notation C, D, E, F, G and so on. This is really all based on this concept of that scale. In Turkish classical music, you also have this. I mean, this Cargah is a major scale, and the way you sing is just you have a Cargah pentachord. So we do this on the PDF. We do this for C, and let's stick to C, because it's not too much about playing today, or in general when we talk about Cargah in this form. So we have C, D, E, F, G. That's a Cargah pentachord, or just a major pentachord. And we have a major tetrachord then following from G. Yeah, and so G is actually our most important note. It's our güçlü. It's our like this kind of connecting tone where these both tetra and pentachords meet, and also the Seir of this this scale. So the progression is like we kind of our basis in a way is like we are on the fifth. We always show this area, and then it's like inichi chikiji. That means we can expand up and we can expand low. Yeah, it's both possible from in Cargah. So G is our like kind of like the most important note besides the root, of course. Like Yerinde, the place where this scale is usually built is C. So it's also C in the Turkish classical music. Of course, don't take it too literally, because like the Turkish classical music is transposed as a whole. Yeah. So don't. But if they say like do re mi C D E, then it's not really, it's not our CDE, but it's also CDE. So we just go with that. Yeah. Anyway, so Cargah actually is as this kind of a major scale is not really used much in Turkish classical music. It's not you do not really, like in other maqams, it's not so often that you say, oh, you can show Cargah on that note or on that note. It's more like Cargah is not a very, I would say, not a very beautiful sound. And especially in this intonation with these microtones, when you really condense Cargah out of that 53 equal temperament, these different microtones, and these small changes of pitch in comparison to the Western 12-tone equal temperament are actually do not really make this whole scale better. The idea actually of this scale, when I had lessons with Nuri Karademirli here in Berlin, this great oud master, he told me that the Cargah is just invented for theoretical purposes to compare that with a Western major scale, with a Western system. So, and that's actually. That you really can do very good, because there you really have the most close scale to our major scale in the West, to the equal 12-tone equal temperament, and this also is a good. I mean, we also started with that when we talked about started with the Turkish tonal system of Turkish classical music, that we have these 53 equal temperament, these 53 microtones, and then we build this basic C major scale. We build by taking like 9 comma intervals, which is called T, tannini or tannin, and B like bakir, like it's bakir is like 4 comma interval. So we have actually like we go from C to D with 9 comma, then from D to E with another 9 comma. Then we go from E to F with 4 comma. Then we go from F to G with 9 comma. From G to A with 9. From A to B with 9. And from B to C back to the octave with 4. So the octave closes, and when we add all these 9s and 4s together, we come to 53. So we come to the exact octave, and so always when you have tetra and pentachords or maqams which use like T and B, then they are more close to the Western like 12-tone equal temperament. Of course, they have to start also with these intervals because, yeah, that's a different story. I do not want to. Actually, when you follow the series here on the different maqams, you will be really like getting more and more like an expert on all these things. You like every maqam lesson here in the series will give you some informations, and when you put that all together, you have a pretty clear idea how the whole thing is constructed, how it works. Okay, so let's get a coffee, of course. All right, but of course, like the 53 equal temperament is different from the 12 equal temperament, and these notes which we reach by combining like 9 microtones and 4 microtones, like this whole and half steps, are not exactly matching with our normal like Western temperament, with the Western system, and when you see the PDF, you see like these small numbers, +4, +8, -2, +2, +6, +9. These are actually the cents how lower or higher the pitch is in comparison to the 12-tone equal temperament, to the Western tonal system. So for example, if we go from C to D, the D is actually like 4 cents higher. If we go to E, then we have a note which is actually like 8 cents higher. So we have an even higher major third, which is not a very beautiful sound. That might be also the reason why this scale is not really used too much. In Turkish classical music, you have Rast, and Rast is really the more beautiful version of our major scale. It has like a lowered third and a lowered 7th degree, which makes the whole thing more round, a bit warmer, more beautiful actually than our Western version of that scale, which is just these notes. And check out in the series here we already talked about Rast. And I played you some examples, so you get that sound. So in Turkish classical music, when you have the major scale, you sing more about Rast, about lowered third, lowered 7th degree. So this Cargah is really like, if you look at the microtones and the intonation and everything, you understand that this is not a very, very nice, beautiful scale. Of course, it fits very much with a Western scale, so also it's used very often also for explanations, because you can really explain in a way you can really see the connection of the Turkish Maqam, of the 43 equal temperament, and the 12 equal temperament, which is actually quite interesting that it's actually matching quite well. You have a complete different division, with this 53 and taking like 9 whole steps and 4 half steps, but you end up with a pretty similar kind of intonation. Yeah, it's just like there's like 9 cent variation with a B with a 7th degree. It's like 9 cent higher, which is also not very nice. Yeah, so actually these notes which are actually better and nicer and more beautiful when they're played lower, like the E and the B, and the C major scale, they're even higher here, yeah, and then quite some degree, like 8 cents and 9 cents. That's not nothing. I mean, it's, as I said, it's quite close, but it's not like 2 or whatever cent. And remember, cent is like we divide the half step of the 12-tone equal temperament into 100 cent, so that we can really calculate and really specify certain like other tunings and intonations that we can say. In this case, this B is 9 cent higher in pitch as our 12-tone equal temperament B. So that's, yeah. But yeah, I'm repeating myself here. I hope that you already know that when you watch this video, because I explained that really in the first like lessons, the first kind of course on Turkish Maqam music, on the Turkish tonal system. The C, also the name of the note in the Turkish Maqam music, is also the name of the note is Cargah. Yeah, remember every note has a name. So you have Cargah, and then you have a lower version of, I mean, an octave lower. It's Kaba Cargah, and Tis Cargah is like an octave higher. And the scale Cargah, and I'm just telling you what I learned from Nuri Karademirli. I mean, I don't have too many sources about it, and I tried to find out also more about that, but I couldn't really find out. So I will just tell you that, and I really hope that it's correct, of course. I mean, I believe what he says, but if you have different sources or you heard something different, please let me know down in the comment field below. That Cargah is a more kind of a newer invention, like Cargah as just a major scale. And the purpose to have that scale is really like more like a theoretical idea, to have a kind of a comparison to the Western system, the Western tonal system. There are other maqams, like older, before there were like other maqams called Cargah. You say, okay, I played Cargah, and this was quite a different maqam as what we just discussing here. And actually one was more like to have like this Zirgüle'li Hijaz. We also talked about that already. Zirgüle'li Hijaz on C, on Cargah. Also moving sometimes down to Sabah. So C, Zirgüle'li Hijaz, moving down to A, Sabah. And Sabah we will talk about later, and we didn't so far. And the other version of Cargah was like kind of like Nikris on Cargah, like Nikris starting with C, on C. So it's like this kind of a minor with a sharp 4 degree, and this is also a maqam, and we will also later on we will talk about that. We also did not until now, but when people say, okay, that's Cargah, especially in earlier days, whatever that means, then that could be actually like this more like Zirgüle'li Hijaz on C, or like Nikris kind of on C, or this more like also going to Sabah on A. And Nuri Karademirli, he told me that he actually just calling like Cargah as Cargah. Cargah is Cargah. It's just this scale we talked about, major scale. But then you have like this Nikrisli Cargah and Zirgüle'li Cargah. So it's like what I'm just told you, because when you go to the internet, to YouTube, and you put in like Cargah, you want to see or hear some examples or some explanations. This is really like very different things show up. Yeah, you see a lot of like lessons and things and examples of just plain C major scale, but you also see like some very different stuff. Yeah, as I said, like Zirgüle'li jazz and Saba'li and this kind of a thing. Also, there's a theory book I'm using quite a lot. Like this, where we have all these maqams and also the different rhythms. It's a quite famous book. And there also it's like we have actually like I think they explain Cargah and they show, but they also show like this Zirgüle'li jazz on C. And then there is this piece. Always there is a composition on every maqam, and there in this composition actually like it shows like nigris on C also. So it's a bit. I'm not completely sure about the whole thing. I'm actually, I have to admit, I'm a little bit confused, but. Let's now. I mean, when we talk here in this Guitar Academia, when we talk about Cargah, then we mean just the major tetra or pentachord or the major scale. Yeah, and that's mostly how it's. I mean, how it's usually also more recently maybe used in general. And this maqam, like just a major scale with this güçlü, with the most dominant note on the 5th degree, on the G in this case, this is used. Yeah, you hear quite some examples also when you search for that on YouTube. But just in general, be careful. There are quite different ideas about. What Cargah is, so maybe more earlier, more traditional maqams actually. Okay. Also in general, I just add because that's something also maybe important. Like Cargah, usually when we play this also this major scale, Cargah on C. It's in the higher octave, so that's the way it normally fits into the whole tonal system. Like we said, like Yerinde, remember? So like Yerinde, Uşak was like built in Kurdi, and Hijaz was built on A, and Rast is like Yerinde. Its place is it's G. Cargah, of course, it's C, but usually it's not the middle range C kind of, but it's a quite high maqam. It's a higher C. It is starting on. So that's something maybe. Just for the sake of completeness, I'm telling you actually more or less like this, all the things here about Cargah which I heard of, which I know, which I hope they are actually right. And please, if you're really like an expert in this Turkish traditional, Turkish classical music, and you hear some things I'm saying here, which you might think, but you know, no, that's not really correct. I'm really open for corrections. You know, I mean, I know that my experience with Turkish classical music is really limited in comparison with a real like an ud or kanun player who is really into that music. Of course, I mean, I'm quite busy with just getting the microtones right and getting like these colors on the guitar and so. Of course, I'm on a different level, you can say, but of course with another idea also in mind. It's not my aim to be a great musician in Turkish classical music. This would be like very bold. If this would be my aim, actually, especially with a guitar. Anyway, so I hope you got something out of that lesson, and I would suggest that you also download the PDF for this lesson. It's not very much, but of course it helps to support the channel, or it supports this channel, and also later on you have in the series, when you have all these PDFs, you have a kind of reference of the whole thing. Okay, and also you can go down in the description below. There's a link where you can donate on my website, hoophildenbrand.com, Guitar Academia page. There you have a button where you can donate. And please subscribe to my channel and click the bell button. Then you also get notifications if a new video will be released, which is the case every week. And yeah, I hope you also you have fun with this material here, with these microtones, and to get in this kind of different world. I think it's really cool. It's really interesting, and it really gives you a different perspective on also on the Western tuning and the Western music, Western harmony or European classical music. It's yeah, to not take everything for granted, you know, not say, okay, we have these 12 tones, equal temperament, and that's it. And there are really like very different ways of tuning, and also like this Turkish classical music is also just one of other possibilities. Also like already like Arabic music, which is also very connected, has a kind of a different tuning also. And also Turkish folk music has a different kind of a tuning, and so I think it's very important to get into that and to taste these different shades of these microtones, the different shades of F sharp and of F and C sharp in these different contexts, to just get more. To learn more about music. Okay, so that's it. I think, that's it for this lesson about Cargah. And so stay tuned. Thanks for watching. My name is Huub Hildenbrand.